viewers, a warm welcome here in the studio in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Maimuli Jufadera. In the headlines tonight, Bundung Community Lighting Project presents street lights to the people Bundung 6 Junction Ward. Talindi North Councillor worries as demand for COVID-19 food aid surges. Al Huda Foundation donates food items to residents of Abuko. On the international scene, Sudan gold fuel smuggling costs hundreds of millions annually. U.S. protesters defy curfews as outrage over police brutality intensifies. Well, those were the headlines, and now the news in details. The Bundung Community Lighting Project, under the leadership of Councillor Suleiman Jammeh, on Sunday presents over 7 units of street lights to the people of Bundung 6 Junction Ward to promote safety and security in the ward. Omar Job was there and he now reports.
The project, under the leadership of Councillor Suleiman Jammeh, area put lights to various places in Bundung, which include the Bundung Cemetery, Bundung Car Park, and the Bundung Police Station. Speaking at the presentation, Suleiman Jallo, the councillor of Bundung 6 Ward Johnson, praised the effort of his community for supporting the initiative, as it will serve as security and enhance Bundung wards at night for free movement, as government alone cannot do everything. Mr. Jammeh further stated that people of Bundung shall forget about political issues and join hands to work in helping Bundung, and urged philanthropists to support the lightning project for better development in the country. Emo Njai, the chairperson of Serekunda East Football Committee, appreciated the gesture as beneficiaries of the project and urged Gambian politicians to emulate the relationship between Councillor Suleiman Jammeh and his secretary Alaye Silla and forget political differences, as they were both vying on the same position and now working together in one office.
I've admired the relationship that is built between yourself and Alaye, and I will never rest in saying it. I saw you the last time and I said, wow, this is an example of the Gambia. If all politicians can look for votes based on their different agendas, all the agendas, whatever we have in our agendas, is to develop the ward that you want to represent. At the end of the day, if that thing is nurtured into your heart, you will come and walk, no matter you winning the position or you not getting the position. And that has been manifested in this ward, and I want everybody to emulate it. I want up to the highest office. We are not talking about the councillor level. We're talking up to the highest office. All politicians, at the end of the day, we all have our manifestos to develop that particular unit. We come back and say, this is my quota in the development process. I think when we do that, we're doing justice to the people that voted for us. Because if you are vying for votes, if I have 1,000 people that I'm looking for them to vote for me, if 600 vote for me, that I won. But what about the 400? The 400 did not vote for me, but they're still living here. Those 400 has given me a mandate, the guy that got the 400, to come to work with the guy that got the 600. Then we will work together. Because those things, because you believe in this manifesto, I believe in that manifesto, we are not enemies.
Modu Cham, first vice president of Serekunda East Sport Committee, commented the effort of the councillor for providing 10 units of lights to them, as it will serve means of security around the territory of the Serekunda East Mini Stadium.
What we are saying as a zone is, we cannot pay the Ward Development Committee through the councillor. We are very, very much happy, and then we are pleased. And we tell you, councillor, by having these lights there, it will really improve the security of the park. If you see the developments that are going on, there is a JFF lightning project which says they're going on, but that project is not catering for lightening of the fences. And these lighting are going directly at the fences. Now, it will improve the security there, and it will allow us also to effectively play the night games that we want to play there. So on that note, Honorable Councillor, we tell you that these lights, they are very, very useful. Their usefulness to us cannot be even gauged. So we are very much happy, and then we are very pleased, and then we want to promise you that these lights will be put to a very, very good use.
This is the third phase of the community lighting project, as the orders were distributed to the police station, the Bundung Cemetery and the Bundung Garage. For Star TV, I am Omar Diop.
Over the weekend, the ward councillor of Talindin North narrated the challenges he faced on the distributing of the COVID-19 food relief package at the Talindin Primary School, as the number of needy people is higher than the food item supplies to his ward. Modu Elbaji reports.
The COVID-19 food relief is distributed to various communities by the borough's administration for onward delivery in order to support the less privileged families during this hard period of the global pandemic. The ward councillor of Talinding North, Babukar Mansali, stressed that those who were not fortunate to be registered during the registration period have started pointing fingers at him, alleging that he made the food items available only to his people, such as the APRC faithfuls.
So, and then these are my complaints. Up to now, there are people outside shouting at me, thinking that I am the one who don't want to register them. I am the one, if at all they did not have this right, I am the cause. While it's not that. And then others are saying that I am selecting my people. It's not that. I myself, I went round. I am an individual. I cannot be four corners of that Talinding. That's why whenever we are forming these ward development committees, this is not politics. If you call people, they should come and answer. Things like this. If at all four sides of Talinding North, we have representatives from each ward, each sub-ward. It will not be like this. Everybody would represent your people. That's how it works. Even council. That's why we have Talinding South, Talinding North. Talinding North, I am their representative. This is how it should be. Every sub-ward, we should have representative. But others, they base it on politics because I'm AP as a councillor. Some of them don't want to work with me. And then now you see, benefit has come. They cannot benefit because they don't have people to represent them. So now people will put blame on me. Others will say that because he's APRC, he's giving his people. And then God knows, we are from Ramadan. We are not working like that. My committee, I have different parties working under my committee. That is recent. Most of them, I have to force them to come and join me.
The beneficiaries of these food packages thanked the government for coming up with this initiative, as some of them took time to express gratitude to President Barrow and his government. Tida Toure is one of those who received their food packages. She also expressed delight to the government. However, in Talinding, the distribution is characterized with mixed feelings due to the fact that the number of those anticipating to grab their shares are far bigger than what was supplied to this ward. Reporting for Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
Al Huda Foundation, in collaboration with Helping Hand for Relief and Development, donates food items to more than 200 residents in Abuku as their yearly Ramadan charity giveaway. Bintakoli has more on the story.
As in Ramadan, many charity organizations in the Gambia do a lot of giveaways, and Al Huda is not an exception. But this year's Ramadan is different, as it coincides with the coronavirus, and many organizations see the charity giveaway as a way to support the needy in the midst of COVID-19. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, Babukar Seka, a member of the foundation, said the coronavirus pandemic have made things very difficult for families, and they deem it necessary to do the giveaway and gave a brief explanation of how the donation started.
It all started when a sister of mine in the United States called me to say that she is working with a team to support Gambia in terms of relief aid. It was supposed to take place during the Ramadan, but it's unfortunate due to some technical issues. Things were delayed, but it's better late than never. The sister's name is Musudrame. She has a lot of influence in the United States, because just yesterday we were at the State House to do another delivery of relief aid. And today we are here doing another thing. There are a lot of organizations in the United States who can help, but it's unfortunate if you don't have people over there who can lobby these things for you. It's always difficult to get them here. So through our influence, this relief aid is here. It's a big package, a package of almost $300,000 plus, where we are going to support for almost 200 families. So when she contacted me, I told her that anyway, you cannot give everybody cash, but it's important you mobilize your people and come and support the country, because people are highly in need of support. So through our intervention, she also worked with these partners Fortunately, this Al Huda Foundation also were in the pipeline, so they just decided to make it one, and it comes through Al Huda Foundation through her influence over there.
Alfanjiran also added that they have been doing this donation for 3 years now, and all they are doing is to help Gambians in need. According to him, before the intervention of the Helping Hand for Relief and Development, they were taking out money from their own pockets to be doing the donation. Babukar Jiba, who received the aid, said he is very happy and grateful to the foundation for the donation, as the gift will help him greatly. The donated items include 10 kilos of rice, 5 liters of cooking oil, 7 kilos of sugar, 6 kilos of coos, and 1 packet of tea for each. For Star TV News, I am Binta Kuli.
Senegalese high school in the Gambia operating under the same system and same syllabus with Senegal can't resume this week despite their colleagues in Senegal resuming tomorrow. This is due to the state of emergency in the Gambia. They have to adhere to the rules put forward by the Gambian government. Matisengo reports.
As lockdown measures eases in Senegal, in school expected to resume tomorrow, the one in the Gambia will not be able to start school tomorrow due to the state of emergency in the Gambia. Speaking to Star TV, the principal of the school, Mohamed Kunta Baji, said that they are expecting to resume sooner or later because of the state of emergency in the Gambia will end on the 8th of June. He added that, despite their colleagues starting lessons tomorrow, they are still optimistic that they will catch up with them soon. He further went on to say that they are communicating with some of their lecturers who have gone to their various homes and could not come back due to the closure of the border. And this is a concern to them because if they are to resume, they'll have shortage of lecturers. Baji noted that if they are given the chance to open, they will be able to observe the physical distancing because they have enough classes to space out the students. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Mati Senghor.
And we now look at the news beyond our borders. Gold and fuel smuggling cost results reach Sudan hundreds of millions of dollars a year. A new report by financial watchdog group Global Financial Integrity, GFI, has revealed the extent of mismanagement in those sectors and its impact on the economy. Al Jazeera's Hiba Morgan reports from Khartoum.
Sitting under the sun for hours is how these miners in Solba in South Darfur spend most of their days. They're looking for gold, their main source of income. But not all that is dug up by miners here is sold legally and goes into government coffers.
Gold gets smuggled because of the instability in its prices and lack of control at the border. Difference between prices given by the central bank and what traders offer to buy from miners helps in the smuggling of gold.
Sudan is one of Africa's top gold-producing countries, exporting over 90 tons of the precious metal in 2018. It accounts for nearly 30% of the country's export. And up until the beginning of this year, the only entity allowed to legally buy gold from miners was the country's central bank. But a soaring inflation and a currency that has continued to lose value against the dollar turned many miners away from the official routes and to more lucrative paths. Now, private companies are allowed to deal in the sector with the condition that they sell 30% of their gold to the central bank as well as deposit the hard currency they earn to help Sudan's weakening economy. Revenues from gold mining have provided a much-needed source of hard currency to Sudan's economy for years. But the income's estimated to be only about half of what it should be because of smuggling. With the inflation rate at about 100%, Sudan's government is looking to reform the gold sector to boost its economy. Since taking over in September last year, Sudan's transitional government has pledged a series of economic reforms to combat inflation and improve living standards. More than half of the 40 million population live below the poverty line. The government has increased wages of civil workers and raised spending on public sectors. It says it hopes to partially cover the costs of those reforms through the gold sector. But with millions being lost annually due to smuggling, some analysts say the real reform that the government needs to do should come from within.
The problem with the gold is really smuggling, which is not, done by any scrupulous traders or anybody else, but it has been done by certain circles within the government itself, and by those who are supposed actually to protect gold smuggling, which makes it very difficult when you come to the reform of stopping smuggling, because it's done by those who are supposed to actually stop smuggling.
Whatever steps the government takes, for miners in Solba, the only thing that matters is that they get paid fairly for their efforts to dig up the gold, regardless of who buys it. Hiba Morgan, Al Jazeera, Khartoum.
Protests against racism have spread to even more U.S. cities, becoming violent in many of them. What began as demonstrations over the death of George Floyd after being arrested have awakened national outrage over deaths blamed on the police. Well, Al Jazeera's Mike Hannan reports.
What started out as peaceful protests in dozens of cities erupted in violence. In Los Angeles, police vehicles were set on fire, sending plumes of black smoke over the area. Similar scenes in cities ranging from Seattle, where a 5 p.m. curfew has been set, to Miami, where thousands gathered through the day, and where, like in so many other areas, a standoff with police ended in clouds of tear gas. In Chicago, where demonstrators held signs carrying messages of protest that were repeated throughout the nation. In New York, a city that is still to emerge from the ravages of a pandemic, a series of protests took place throughout the 5 boroughs. And in Minneapolis, the city where George Floyd was killed and where the national wave of protests began. The president left the White House in the mid-morning to attend the SpaceX launch, and afterwards expressed his sympathy for George Floyd and his family, but also had this to say about the protesters.
The memory of George Floyd is being dishonored by rioters, looters, and anarchists. The violence and vandalism is being led by Antifa and other radical left-wing groups who are terrorizing the innocent, destroying jobs, hurting businesses, and burning down buildings.
This in the wake of a tweet saying if protesters had broken the Secret Service ring outside the White House, they would have been greeted with the most vicious dogs and most ominous weapons I have seen. The reference to vicious dogs seen by Washington's Mayor Muriel Bowser as a throwback to the police use of dogs on African American civil rights activists decades ago. And in an extraordinary tweet of her own, the mayor lashed out at the president in the White House, saying, and I quote, "While he hides behind his fence, afraid, alone, I stand with people peacefully exercising their First Amendment right after the murder of George Floyd and hundreds of years of institutional racism. There are no vicious dogs and ominous weapons. There is just a scared man, afraid, alone." Into the night, crowds continued to gather within sight and sound of the president's residence, clashing with police and Secret Service agents on several occasions. Washington, D.C. became one of more than 11 cities where the National Guard has been mobilized. And amidst the flickering of flames and swirling smoke, curfews were declared in a number of areas. This in a nation just emerging from a months-long lockdown in the face of a pandemic. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Washington.
People in cities across the U.S. have defied curfews to continue protesting against police brutality. In Atlanta, 2 police officers have been fired for using excessive force. Police surrounded a car and arrested a couple inside after slashing their tires, breaking a window and firing a taser. The city's police chief said members of her force cannot be allowed to act with impunity. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports from Los Angeles, U.S.
Police misconduct amid nationwide protests over police misconduct. Here, police in riot gear surround a car with 2 young black people inside. One slashes a tire. Another smashes the driver's window. The young woman is tased and violently dragged out, although she is not resisting. The male driver is manhandled and also shocked with a taser, even though he too doesn't appear to resist.
Put him down, man. Put him down. Put him down.
On Sunday, after the police body cam video went viral, 2 of the policemen were fired. Authorities identified them as Ivory Streeter and Mark Gardner. This was Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday night. For protesters calling for justice for the death in Minneapolis of George Floyd, it could have been almost anywhere in the U.S. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms said the officers' actions were unacceptable.
Sometime during the night, I saw a very disturbing video of two young college students who were in downtown Atlanta yesterday evening. And it was disturbing on many levels, the least of not which was that there clearly was an excessive use of force.
3 other officers were placed on desk duty and may face further discipline. Atlanta's police chief apologized.
How we behaved as an agency, as individuals, was unacceptable. And I know that we caused further fear to you in a space that's already so fearful for so many African Americans. And I am genuinely sorry. This is not who we are. This is not where we're about.
Another disturbing video from Los Angeles shows a police vehicle accelerating into protesters, knocking 2 of them down. It then reversed at high speed, nearly striking other people. No one was seriously injured. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
And before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. Bundun Community Lighting Project presents street lights to the people of Bundun 6 Junction Ward. Talindi North Councillor worries as demand for COVID-19 food aid surges. Al Huda Foundation donates food items to residents of Abuko. Sudan gold fuel smuggling costs hundreds of millions annually. U.S. protesters defy curfews as outrage over police brutality intensifies. Well, that's all for this edition of the news. Please enjoy the rest of our programs and do join us tomorrow for more news. Thanks for watching and do have a blissful night. Bye.